both volumes on.
Yeah. Right. So it's also just like we don't know the truth, right? Like I don't agree with anyone going and following them there. That's super crazy to me.
These haters.
Yeah, but for all we know,
against me.
it could be a stunt by her. Like because we've seen her do these kinds of things.
I know this is overstimulating everyone.
So you've seen somebody
that they're fucking fake.
claim somebody stalked her before?
What they're saying is horrible.
Yes.
Horrible.
Horrible. Okay, I'm not gonna get play by play.
I mean, this is the first time a video, but why I see where you're coming from. Do you see where we're coming from too? Like,
no, I absolutely
did she give it to the
that's where I'm
police?
a little bit different. See, I can see where you're coming from, but a lot of people can't see where I'm coming from because they're so closed off to it.
Oh, please.
I'm not closed off to see where you're coming from. I definitely see where you're coming from.
Did you ask her if she sent it to the police?
Checkout time, but you can stay past the checkout time and swim and stuff. So it'd be very hard for someone to know exactly when she was going to leave.
Somebody asked who made the court photos. I know the answer to that.
Momo, she told us.
Monique and Danny.
Yep.
And then,
But you know, Gabby proclaimed that she won that court case. And Momo showed us that she left in tears.
That they were doing that to their kid. Like, where is that?
Danny said that she thought Aaron was.
From back in the day, from a couple years ago?
I think it was more recent.
Oh, I thought she said that. So 4 years ago, I don't know.
I think she's hiding. Now she ended.
Danny said that Aaron was doing some shit. And then Danny said that she said it out of anger. So that was like years and years ago. So maybe I'm not like.
There is nothing that AK can say to me now.
I don't know. No, he wasn't. So that's just. It was like 3.5, 4 years.
To mitigate her life and the way she.
Yeah, so I see where you're coming from, but I was, I just wanted to give you a little perspective from our side of things as well. And 100%, I don't want to see Cam taken from that home. If she actually proved that she was getting therapy and parenting classes and doing better and keeping Cam off the internet, eventually I would be absolutely elated that that's what she's doing. But it's a vicious cycle with her where she doesn't show him, I'm not going to show him, and then puts him back on the camera. And as a mother, my kids are not shown. My kids are not heard.
I'm not sure, to be honest, that Feisty and Villain
stuff a long time ago about Aaron.
could.
And that's back when I met Danny and Gabby. So that was.
Although, on the other hand, Texas Pickle did a
I'm sorry if I say almost
great
4 years
job.
ago. I know it's between 3 and 4.
I think AK would just drop them because I don't think they can.
So just bear with me on that. It's been more than 2 years ago.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
I don't know why anybody's saying that. I've never been a month ago.
Thank you for letting me up, AK.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good night.
You too. See, it's anything to discount somebody else. I know what I know and I know what I heard. All right? Why are you questioning me saying that I heard it years ago? Like, it's not okay.
She's just cherry picking what she wants to point out.
So I was just coming, Bossy actually just touched on a couple of the things I wanted to ask about. And I just wanted to
They and
bring up
them.
Again, I know you
Are her
talked about a lot of
pronouns.
people bullying Gabby and things like that. But just to kind of reiterate, she did.
That's a
go
good point,
live
Amy.
On the account that was quote unquote bullying her, that her and Aaron would use to go in her chat and bully. She went live from that account. And so that was,
Did you know that?
Was something that we all saw from our own eyes. And then she was like, oh, shoot, I just came on. This was an accident. Aaron's going to kill me. I was not supposed to come on this account. And that was something
Was that
very obvious.
account?
It was, I think it was either Gabby's going to jail or like this was the name of it. It was like
Gabby's.
going to jail, or
Mhm.
maybe it was like Gabby CPS or something like that. Gabby CPS case or something like that. That was like the troll name, and that was under, she couldn't log in on her phone. And so she was using Aaron's phone or something like, Gabby CPS, that's what it was. So
And Gabby's going to jail. It was
on
the
one of her devices,
display name, and
she accidentally logged into this account that was still in her chat, like trolling her. So, and that was all on the live. And of course, you know, we could, if you really cared to like witness that, we could dig that up and everything. And then I was just going to speak on, you know, her joining that private Telegram group. And I'm not saying that Telegram group was great. I mean, I saw pictures and videos and things like that people were saying, but she willingly went into that chat. Whether it was right or wrong for the people saying the things that they were saying, she went in there and she continued to stay in there, seeing all those terrible things. So again, like making herself the victim. Whether those people should have been saying those things or not, that's one thing, but she chose to go into this hate group willingly. And she's done that before with, you know, Discords and things like that, but she knew exactly what they were doing. And then again, to victimize herself, she's doing it while she's streaming it on live, so everybody can see that she's getting all of these hate comments. And so that's just an example of her making herself the victim. She subjected herself to joining, you know, hearing those terrible things. None of us wants to hear.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I'm asking you from a standpoint of think about me, because
I really want to go over. I really do.
What if it was you?
I wouldn't have joined the group.
What if it was you and hundreds of people are saying all these things that you don't think is true about you? So you want an eye on it so that you can manage whatever people are saying or whatnot. Because I have went into Discords about me. I have definitely, because I wanted to know what people were saying about me. So I think unless it's actually literally happened to you, that's a really hard thing to say, well, somebody shouldn't do that. Because like I wanted to know what to be prepared for. Now I'm not saying don't take it like, oh my God, you're taking up for it. No, put yourself in that situation. Like I know I literally wanted to know what people were saying so that I could manage it. Now I just made videos today saying I don't care anymore, and I don't. I no longer put myself in that situation because it fucks with your mental health so bad that like it's a horrible trip. Okay, it's
Right.
a horrible trip. But it's so hard because like
I understand what you're saying, and I do, but then she also has to take a second, like self-reflect, because if you listen to her, she's been bullied her whole life, right? They had to get homeschooled.
Hang on 1 second.
Because she was.
Hang on, I gotta check something.
5 foods that give you a flatter stomach. Number 1 is banana.
Damn it.
Banana is hot.
Hang on.
Such a poor man. We've seen those videos where she's freaking out and screaming when, you know, Cam's right there. And that's just not good either for the child. And so I just think at some point you kind of do have to take a second to self-reflect, because none of us are perfect. We all know that. And I think a lot of us would make fake accounts to troll ourselves to get sympathy.
no, not to troll yourselves, but I've made a fake account to go and look and see what people were saying about me because things got real bad. And I'll say this, she's got way more haters than I could ever dream of having. And that's a lot. Like, that's a lot on somebody's mental health. Whether you think that she brought it on herself or not, like, it's a lot. Like, that's just a lot. Like, it's a lot.
And I think
my dog out. I'm sorry.
I think that's why a lot of people are saying, well, then why don't you just get off the app, right? And because then you don't subject yourself to it. And yes, people will still talk, and maybe 6 months will go by, and but it's going to die down. But if she's not on the app, she's not going to see it. And I've been in groups and I've looked at Reddit and things like that, and genuinely, I think a lot of people just care about her getting better for Cam.
All right, I'm requesting a box. If I get a box, I have to follow her first.
Until I saw the telegram.
If I get a box, I'm going to have to end this live.
Make the telegram, okay? Let's say she made it, all right? She's not in there just being the only one that's like trolling on herself. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in there doing that shit.
Yeah.
So whether she made it or not, I don't give a fuck if she made it or not. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty sick if you make the telegram talk to troll yourself. Okay, yeah, that's sick. But like, what about the people who are in there participating, you know?
Yeah.
No, just because somebody opens the door to something does not mean that you have to, it doesn't mean that you have to participate. Just because somebody opened the door does not mean that you have to be a bully or that you have to do things. That doesn't mean that you have to do that.
Yeah.
And I know that she's got mental health issues. I've got mental health issues. Like,
you know,
a lot of us anymore these days have mental
Oh, I don't care if you go over there.
That's the way the world is. All right? And so nobody thinks that she doesn't. I mean,
but you know what the thing is, though? I think that she would get an ounce of sympathy if she owned that a little bit. So there have been a lot of people who've tried to help over the years. She doesn't want to listen to anything. She doesn't want to listen to anyone giving any sort of, now whether it's constructive or not, but any sort of help. It's this. She takes no accountability for any
help her out
doings at all, and that's where people get upset.
do you think if her mental health is so bad that like it's all just such a fucking blur?
Maybe.
No, absolutely not.
That all this is happening, and it's, I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't think straight anyway half the time, but like,
it's a definite addiction, right? Whether it's the negative attention, she spends her days on TikTok, so it's a definite addiction of some sort, and that probably plays part into it as well. But I think, I don't know, I guess I could ramble here forever, but just my point, I just wanted you were bringing up some good points, and I just wanted you to understand some points from someone else. I try not to always attack, and I do try to come at it from a different point of view, but I have watched her since the first apartment before Moldgate, so I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of the behavior, and I guess just trying to have a conversation, that's all. So she gets, she has her where she's crying 1 second, she's cocky the next, and she's playing I Am the Champion and talking.
Oh, was Pinky? Pinky is allegedly her podcast host.
That's where a lot of people get their emotions from: the taunting, the rage baiting, the things like that.
and I understand that, but I'm going to also, I keep saying stuff, but I have to kind of laugh at some of the comments you're saying. Like, you guys are saying that she's addicted to TikTok, but have you watched yourselves?
Please.
I'm addicted to TikTok.
Have you watched yourselves watch lives for 7 hours, 10 hours? Who's addicted? Okay,
No.
yes, we're addicted. Content creators,
If you look at my
we're
screen,
addicted.
yeah, if you look at my screen time on my phone, I would be embarrassed to show it to anyone. I'm addicted.
You all addicted, honey.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
all here right now, and I'll
Yeah.
probably be live for another 2 hours, and you
Yeah.
all addicted. So
And
like,
I'll wake up
come
at
on.
1 a.m. and I'm gonna scroll because I got up to go to the bathroom and I want to see what's going on. We're all addicted, absolutely. For sure.
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah,
Amen,
yeah.
Freckles.
So, all right. Well, thank you for speaking, and I enjoyed having a conversation. And have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. All right, who's next?
Uh-oh, I'm next. Gotta go.
What? I'm making you something. I'm making you something.
You can talk. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I just want to introduce myself, and this is my main account, but I have been using one of the Fearless 15 accounts to stream Gabby. And I want to explain to you, of course, we're all addicted to TikTok. And I have streamed Hippie Harley too last summer and wasted a good deal of my summer on her as well. And, watching Hippie Harley, now watching Gabby, of course it starts out as drama. It's the shit show that we all want to watch. But at some point, when I felt compelled to stream, it's because there is such an investment in the egregious acts that these folks have done, their actions and their words. And I thought Hippie Harley was bad, but Gabby takes it to a brand new level. And, first of all, I hate the word haters. And if you ever listen to Gabby, she has zero self-awareness. She doesn't know why she's being cyberbullied. She attributes it to people being jealous or envious of her, which is ludicrous. What I say, I don't like the word hate or hurt, which is what she uses a lot, but she has offended so many people in not just little ways. All of these communities, the veterans community, she literally has said that she is the equivalent of a combat veteran hearing fireworks. And I do want you to know the PTSD diagnosis, and I am going to quote verbatim. One day Gabby went live and she said, I'm going to call my psychiatrist and get a PTSD diagnosis. Verbatim, quote, Gabby. A few hours later, she had her diagnosis, along with, I quote, severe emotional distress and emotional abuse from the internet. They're not diagnoses. They're not diagnoses. And you did say that plural, right? I don't know who was criticizing you, but that is how it went down. And I think all of these other things, miscarriage and a lot of these other things that she allegedly is showing facts and paperwork. First of all, there's enough suspicion on how frequently and egregiously she lies all day long, every day. She contradicts herself. It's very, very easy to catch her in lies. But there's enough suspicion that when something does happen to her, and she wants to take an opportunity to provide a fact or a document, she did not choose the discharge paper from the hospital when she allegedly had a miscarriage. That's not what she said. She threw that paper away. She then followed up with her OBGYN and showed a MyChart example. And it's very easy to see what she presents is manipulation. One thing I want to ask you, since, there's been I've only been watching for about a year. There are two real life stalking incidents. The Great Wolf Lodge was one. Can I ask you that, did she tell you if she reported that to the police?
Yes.
She told you she reported it to the police and they're investigating.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody was stalking me, I would too. I mean, just to be honest, I would have if somebody was stalking me. I don't think I'm that popular yet to have somebody. Are you calling me a liar?
Who, me?
No, the chat.
Oh.
Curious.
Well, she has not told anyone that she reported that to the police, because I do think that certainly would have been worthy of reporting to the police. And I know that you mentioned that you weren't up to date on the lawnmower incident with the Craigslist ad that just happened on Thursday.
I watched it, but I don't think that I have all the information for that to even, because, okay, I don't know who made the Craigslist ad. So that would be hard for me to be like, because people were saying that she made the Craigslist ad.
I mean, initially, and first of all, I mean, as we watch, we speculate. Of course we do. You try to figure things out. Yeah. That would have been my first guess that she placed the ad. Because when there was a knock on the door, she had just gotten done telling everyone that she was scared in her own home and to leave her house. She was not working anymore. Didn't want to take her son to school. She was scared of people being after her and her son. But she went right to the door and opened the door. She was on camera. You could hear the man ask about the Craigslist ad. It was really after that when another person came, and you could hear through her live, we presume it was the neighbor, that sounded like they were saying, it's here. And the men went away. Gabby was listening. If we could hear it, she could hear it. And then she proceeded to call the police after that and say, there's men out there and they're not leaving. And her mental health was the worst I have ever seen on that day. It was crazy incident. I think people were extremely worried about her. And then she did disappear for the weekend and not talking about it today. But those are the two incidents where, how are you going to talk about everything else, but not that? And it's suspicious. It's
I don't know.
suspicious.
I feel like that she can't talk about anything though, because everything's, everybody thinks that I'm just saying thinks allegedly,
yeah,
or whatever. Everybody thinks that she's like a master manipulator. She knows that every time she says something, nobody believes her. So like, I don't know. I don't know what happened over the course of the couple of days where she wasn't online. I was watching and waiting too for her to come back on. The only reason I reached out to her today was because I guess she was on live saying that she wanted to talk to a larger creator about it. So I reached out and said, let's talk, because the last time she was on live, whenever I went into her live, I asked her if I could ask her a couple questions, and she blocked me. And when I asked her today, she said the reason why she did that is because I made videos about her. I did. And I told her, I said, yeah, I made videos. Because I have a lot of questions, like, what the hell? So I asked tons of questions today.
Right.
But I have a life too, and I couldn't spend hours and hours. I spent a lot of time, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, of course. I think what I've said to people is, I think out of all the people that are regularly following Gabby right now, I think she's got probably 10% true bullies that are just out to hurt, shame, humiliate.
Yeah.
I think she has maybe 10% true supporters. But then I think there's 80% of people that are just waiting for accountability for something. I don't think, there's no doubt in my mind that she showed you 80 plus CPS cases that have had no action. I believe that. I believe that's a true statement. I believe she probably, showed you that. But
I didn't read all of them. I didn't read the last two because I was trying to cram it all in. But I did read them, and they were all saying that they felt like he was safe.
Right. I don't disagree with that. I know there's a lot of opinions, and there are people that, do think that CPS should have removed him by now. I don't happen to be part of that group. What I do know is that she is not a good parent. What she shows on this internet is not good parenting. It's not good parenting. And it's just like texting and driving. While her face is in her phone, it is not paying attention to her son. I have watched, and she is sometimes, when she is actually truthful, you get a glimpse into her thinking. She literally last summer couldn't wait for him to start school so the school would potty train him. She said that out loud, as if what I see Gabby doing is avoiding the hard things, avoiding correcting, avoiding structure. Those are the hard parts of parenting. And I think if she was genuine, if she had a little humility in her life, instead of patting herself on the back for being a great mom, I like people that are quirky. I think, she mispronounces a lot of words. She doesn't have a great vocabulary. Those are all things that I would have a compassion for a person and support them. But she is literally the most arrogant person that it takes zero responsibility. And all you ever hear her say is, I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes. What mistakes are they? Like, that's all I've ever heard her say. She does not take accountability for everything. And I think that unless you have been watching her, you really can't even imagine the number of times a day that she lies, she pushes buttons, she rage baits. It's consistent and it's constant. And I do think one more thing I wanted to point out, and I'll let somebody else talk if you'd like. The shark incident. I agree with you. When I look back at that,
that's a
yes,
fact.
I know. But listen, here's what I have to say about that. Is when I look back at it, they were playing with shark stickers. He was saying that because he touched her, she immediately started saying, Zach. And that's not what he was saying, because he's very persistent in communicating now if, he's not understood. I think she started that Zach because she literally felt sort of a panic because he touched her chest. However, that is, I believe, an innocent circumstance. He was saying shark, but take my word for it. There's 5 other incidents where he is under her shirt, grabbing her. She turns the camera. There are other incidents that make that suspicious.
I understand that.
What happens is Gabby gets indignant about that, and she's telling the truth. And it's a little suspicious the way she was trying to guide him to say Zach, but she ignores the 5 or 6 other really bad instances that people have witnessed and doesn't talk about it.
Do you think because she could hear that he made a gesture and then it sounded like suck?
Yes,
he automatically
absolutely.
Oh God, the internet.
Yes. Yes. But I think that there is some truth as to why people are skeptical about that. To be honest, I mean, there's a handful. I think, and I don't know if you saw this one clip, but I can't get, this is to me just the epitome of both of them really showing boldly really inappropriate behavior. Aaron had Gabby bend over, touch her toes, and told her to spell the word run.
I saw that.
R-U-N. Did you see that? And then, Aaron, humped her. And then Cam jumped in and mimicked it. Those are the things that people see and she ignores, but she will focus on that. And, of course it's human nature. The shark was innocent and she's going to explain that. But, there's just too much. There's too much. And Gabby is, like I said, the word I like to use is offended. She has offended so many people. None of us can tell somebody I didn't hurt you, because hurt is your own feelings. You can't tell somebody how they feel, whether it's rational or irrational. You can't explain that. But Gabby does not understand why she is disliked, and she's not open to even hearing any of the behaviors at all. She's got the good game of blocking and only focusing, on the real things that are happening. And until she has some self-awareness, it's not going to change.
Has she ever had a live where she's talked to people in the boxes and people actually not and been respectful like you're being right now?
I recently, she did leave a couple people in her boxes one night. I forget what the incident was, and I was very surprised she opened boxes. And there was a creator, I think it was Artsy Fartsy, who was some type of licensed clinician or in the field. And she started out by saying to her, first of all, from her professional perspective, it's very hard to prove physical abuse in a house. And she didn't see that. She did not see that there was anything substantiated in trying to remove her son. But then she tried to talk to her about what kinds of things constitute emotional abuse and dropped her instantly. And that's what I've seen. I've seen people be disrespectful, but I have seen a handful of people be very respectful and try to talk to her. And as soon as it is an actual, something that is hard for her to accept or acknowledge, she does drop them. And hence she doesn't open boxes very, very often.
Sorry, I had to feed my animals. I was not trying to anybody.
But that's all. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and you were speaking to what you saw today, but you do have to understand that, a couple of days ago, people were looking for you to create some awareness, and you did an about face, and you did it very aggressively today. And I'm glad that you're
kindly.
Pardon me?
I don't take kindly to somebody telling me what I need to do. And because I don't do what they want me to do, that I'm not doing enough. And
right.
I'm not a fucking wizard. I'm not a magician. I'm a human just like everybody else. And
yeah, I hear you. You
guys can sit and say I was rude, but the way Savannah came at me, that was rude. That was not okay. I wasn't trying to be rude in that aspect, but I'm also not going to sit and let somebody be rude and disrespectful to me. That's why I yeeted myself right the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't put up with that shit. I'm not going to let somebody dogpile on me and tell me what. No, Savannah was not being respectful. She was talking over me. She was not being respectful.
I think the thing maybe that I'm referencing, and this is how I see it with Gabby, is lumping everybody in as bullies and haters, because it's not true. And not to say that there isn't a percentage of people that are just being, body shaming and rude and mean-spirited, because there is. But Gabby does not have thousands of haters after her that do want to see her son taken away, her, harassing her mom. Everything has some embellishment to it. And if not embellishment, then just straight up lies. So, okay. I've said my piece, and I will jump down into the comments, but thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.